Okay, everybody, welcome. I have this new mic. I'm going to go ahead and hook it up. Welcome to Module 2 of your 13-week wellness experience. And I'm Crystal, and I am excited to share this Module 2 with you. This is clearing emotional baggage with emotion codes. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the information, and we will be able to answer questions in the Facebook group. So feel free to jot down your questions as you're watching, and then post your questions in the Facebook group. Okay. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So hopefully you guys can only see the slide that I'm sharing. And so the first thing that I want to talk with you guys about, actually I'm going to go ahead and close that. Okay. So the first thing that we need to understand when it comes to clearing emotional baggage is something I like to call the art of allowing. And so without going into a whole bunch of background and a lot of details about how this came about in this presentation, we can do that in other presentations if you guys have questions about it. But basically, the simplified definition of the art of allowing is the practice of feeling good unconditionally in order to attract more preferred experiences into your life. So this practice puts us in the allowing zone. That's what I call it, the allowing zone. Or if you listen to Abraham Hicks calls this the vortex of creation, where we become magnetic to the people, experiences, and manifestations that match this happy and grateful state of being. This state of being will naturally emanate from your auric field, which is the energy field that's around your body. You remember we talked a little bit about that in Module 1. So sort of the whole point of energy healing and clearing is to learn how to practice the art of allowing and to learn how to be in the zone of allowing, which basically means that you generally feel good. And based on what we know about the law of attraction, when we have this energy of feeling good, we are basically allowing ourselves to receive more of that energy. So the law of attraction states that we basically attract the energy that we are, or the energy that we're putting out. And so so that's, sort of the groundwork for really all of the work we're doing of clearing our energy, is so that we can have experiences, whether it is, your physical experience of your physical health, experiences of relationships, experiences of other sort of manifestations in your life, of physical things showing up in your life, more money, all of those different things. They really become, it becomes much more clear when you're aware of what you're doing in your energy, how your energy is affecting the way that you're experiencing your life. Okay. So resistance, or the habit of disallowing. Now this is basically the opposite of allowing. And so this is the quickest way to fall out of the allowing zone, or to block yourself from getting in there in the first place. And this is your own resistance. So this is not resistance that's coming from outside of you that's pushing you. It's actually resistance that's showing up within you in the form of doubt, feelings of lack, negative emotions, physical pain in your body, and so forth. Or actually, it's not the physical pain in your body, but it is the way you feel about the pain. So if you have negative thoughts and feelings around the pain that you're experiencing, this also can be resistance. So resistance can be a very real physical problem stemming from emotional trauma, poor nutrition, and body toxicity, victim mentality, or other blocks created by beliefs. And beliefs are just energy. This is the energy of thought that we think these thoughts over and over again, which creates an emotional energy in the body field and becomes a belief. So actually on that last slide, I wanted to share a couple of thoughts, additional thoughts on that. So the picture on the slide, it shows a cork floating. So imagine holding a cork underwater. And when you release it, it will naturally and rapidly bob to the surface and float on top of the water. So this is similar to holding yourself down with trapped emotions and other resistance. Your naturally positive emotional state is like the floating cork, and you will remain in this state as long as you're letting go and not holding yourself down. So I just wanted to share that analogy with you guys. All right, on to the next slide. So emotion code is the practice that we use to clear trapped emotions, along with some of the other things that we're going to be learning about in this 13 weeks. So basically, we're talking about trapped emotions. And there has been a lot of study already done on the correlation between emotions and physiological effects that they have on the body. So I'm not going to go into detail about all the different studies that have been done and the different books that have been written. If you go into the module and you click on the link inside the PDF, there's a link to a blog post that I wrote that gives you a ton of different resources if you want to do some more research on your own. But I just want to share that it is my belief and my observation that words don't teach, experiences do. So we just really need to experience this for ourselves and jump right into it, because you really have nothing to lose and everything to gain if you allow this technique to be effective for you. So here is the book, The Emotion Code. And again, as I mentioned before, this is one of the easiest tools that I have ever used for clearing trapped emotions. I have found it to be extremely effective. I have used it in all types of different situations, from, clearing my own feelings and baggage around working with people in a professional setting, where, I felt that there was a weird energy going on with the other person. And of course, I have come to understand through all of the work that I've done on myself that it's always me and it's not them. So other people are sort of holding up a mirror so that we can see our own stuff, right? So using this technique, the emotion code, has been very effective for me in helping me to clear those, frequencies, those vibrations that make it difficult to function in a lot of different aspects. I can share a lot of different stories with you about that. But for today, we're going to keep this really short and to the point, and we are going to actually go into showing you how to actually perform the technique. And then the homework, or the well work assignment, is going to be for you to take at least 3 days, if not every day this week, to actually practice this technique. Okay, so creating a habit of using the technique at home, alone, or with a partner is a very important step in allowing it to be a useful tool for your personal growth. The more consistently you use it, the easier it becomes and the more automatic your results. So this week's module is designed to help you create the habit of letting go of all the baggage using this powerful yet simple technique. So if you're ready, let's do this. All right. So the links in Module 2 are in the member portal. Just a reminder, so you can go in there. You can download the ebook, the emotion code, which is free. You can get the chart, and I'm going to show you the chart on the following slides. You're going to want to get a good magnet, and I'm going to show you the magnet as well, and you're going to want to practice sway testing. I'm going to demonstrate that for you today. All right. Okay, so practicing the technique. So the first thing that you want to learn is how to sway test and really what sway testing is. And so again, I have a really more in-depth blog post on the website about the sway test. And there's a link to it also in the PDF in the handout. So what do you want to know about sway testing? It's a very simple method that basically uses muscle testing, and it's your body's natural ability to respond to stimulus, whether it is external or internal, and for our purposes, it's internal, and it's you using your mind to ask yourself yes or no questions and allowing your body to sway to help you to answer the questions without using your conscious thought. It's very cool, and it really works. So what you're going to do with this technique is you're going to stand and become as relaxed as possible. You're going to take a few deep breaths and imagine being grounded, which is literally connected to the ground, and call in all of your own energy. So as we go about our day, we're talking to different people, we're interacting with people, and sometimes our energy can be expanded out. We can be thinking about other things that are going on, and all of that's energy. And so we just want to bring all of our own energy back into our own field and just deliberately be very connected to ourselves. And then you want to clear your mind. This is not a mental practice, and no thoughts are required except to ask the questions. So to get a baseline, you're going to ask yourself a question or make a statement that is a yes for you. So it could be something like, stating your name or asking my name is. So for me, it would be my name is Crystal, or is my name Crystal? And wait, relaxed, and notice which way your body moves. Forward motion is a yes, a backward motion is a no. And you can deliberately tell yourself, this is my forward motion is a yes, my backward motion is a no. Generally, our body is going to sway forward if it's a yes and backward if it's a no, automatically without us having to set that intention. We do this all day long, every day, when we're talking to people, when we're engaged in a conversation, or we're really it's really like something we're into. We're going to lean into that conversation. If we're talking to someone and they're saying something that we don't want to hear, we're going to lean back from that conversation, maybe fold our arms. And, so we have these natural, body language things that are constantly happening, whether we're aware of them or not. So this is just a way to deliberately use your body language in a way that you're going to understand, and it's going to help you to identify what it is that is needing to be cleared from your field. Okay, so once you've established the baseline, you can begin asking yes or no questions of your body. So we're going to take a few minutes to practice, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me. I'm going to stand up and kind of stand back a little bit so you can see me, and I'm going to set my my mic down. So hopefully you'll still be able to hear what I'm saying. I'll try to talk as loud as I can. Okay. So to demonstrate the emotion code, or the sway test rather, so I am going to sort of turn sideways so you can see my motion and see if I can make sure I'm in the frame. And so just getting really relaxed, maybe like setting your feet really firmly on the floor. And you could do this barefoot even if you want to. And then just think of something positive for you. So like I said, it can be your name. My name is Crystal. And you'll see that my body very slightly moved forward. I have a very slight motion when I sway. And something that's not true for me, I'm a man. And so you can see my body naturally wants to sway backward. And so that's basically it. That is the technique for the sway test. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about troubleshooting here. Just check and make sure I mentioned everything there. So yeah, so if you are having problems using this technique, there's a few things that you can do to troubleshoot. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you're well hydrated. So you want to be drinking a lot of really good water. And when I say good water, I mean water that's really hydrating. So, you know, some bottled waters are very high, very low pH. So you want to be careful with drinking a lot of bottled water. But if you do drink bottled water, you can put some minerals in the water to raise the pH so that it actually hydrates your body. And then, of course, there's other things that people do, like with the water alkalizers and all that stuff. You may be crossing your polarity. And so when your polarity is off, I do have an infoceutical for polarity that can help to reverse the polarity, but there's also simple things in this process that you can do to help to put your polarity back. So you can cross, you can take a walk, and crossing your knee right over left. So as you're walking, you're gonna kind of like raise your left knee to the right and raise your right knee to the left and kind of do that. You can tap your knee with the opposite hand and sort of, that can help to reset your polarity as well for this process. If you're stressed in the moment, depressed or angry, the low frequency of your emotion and vibration can stop the process. So you really want to get relaxed. You can do a quick meditation, take a few deep breaths, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, breathing in for a count of 4, releasing for a count of 6. You can do some of these sort of quick relaxation techniques to help to relax yourself and reset your point of attraction to a calm level, because that's what's needed for this technique to be effective. And if you just aren't certain that it's working, you can just remind yourself that there's no right or wrong, there's no one judging you. And so you can just play with it, just have fun with it and experiment with the technique for yourself. Okay, so those are some troubleshooting things. All right, so this is the chart of emotions. And I like this one because it also has the questions on there that you're going to be asking. And I have actually further simplified this process to really make sure that there's no conscious thought going on as you're doing this process. So what you want to do is you're going to go through this series of questions. So the first question, you'll see right here, let's see. So here's the first question. Do I have a trapped emotion I can release now? So you're going to ask yourself that question, standing, relaxed. Take a deep breath, and then if the answer is yes, you'll feel yourself slightly sway forward. So even from the sitting position, right now, I really felt like my body needed to move forward when I asked that question. And so then the next question is, once you've established a yes or a no, is the trapped emotion in column A? And you'll just do the same thing. Is the trapped emotion in column A? That feels like a no to me. And so is the trapped emotion in column B? Relax, and you'll sway forward if it's a yes. Then once you establish which column we're working with, so now you've eliminated half of the possibilities. So you've eliminated half. Now we know that we're working, actually today we're going to be working in column B. That was what came up for me. So now we want to eliminate the other half of the options by asking if this emotion is in an odd row. And so we ask, is this trapped emotion in an odd row? And that's a yes for me. And so now I've eliminated row 2, 4, and 6. So is the trapped emotion in row 1? And that feels like a no. is the trapped emotion in row 3? And that also feels like a no. Is the trapped emotion in row 5? And that feels like a yes to me. So now we know that we're going to be 5. And so trapped emotion that I'm ready to release is going to be one of these 5 trapped emotions. So as I've practiced this, we have come to understand or realize as a group, when I practice with the group, actually saying words out loud can cause too much thought. So instead of saying the words, we just number them. So the trapped emotion that I'm ready to release now is number 1. Is it number 2? Is it number 3? It feels like 3. Is it number 4? Feels like number 4. Is it number 5? Feels like number 5. So I'm going to be working with these 3 trapped emotions to release and clear them. Okay. So then the next question would be if we're unable to release the trapped emotion. So we're going to ask the question, can I release the trapped emotion? If I say, for example, I get a no, I can't release the trapped emotion. Then I can ask additional questions. I can ask when it occurred. I can ask maybe it was even my trapped emotion that just on comes very close to the other person, or it had been passed on from generational. I can ask where it was lodged. But generally what I do is I will just ask if this is a heart wall, if this is inherited, and just continue asking questions until I get yes. Okay? So I'm going to go on to the next slide, because there's a little bit more that we need to know, and then we're going to actually practice this again, okay? So let's move on. So the way that we release the trapped emotions, once we've identified what the emotion is and we've gotten a yes, the body says, yes, I can release this trapped emotion, is we're going to use a magnet and we're going to create a shift of the electromagnetic field in the body along the primary meridians of the body where energy flows. So in Dr. Nelson's book, he shows that this governing meridian going over the head and down the back, over the head, down the back of the spine is where we can actually influence the energy that's flowing through our body to open up enough to release these trapped emotions. Through my own practice, I also discovered that I can do this going down the central meridian, which is the front meridian, here going down the front as well. So either one seems to work, and you can play around and experiment with it for yourself to see what works better for you. You have a partner that's working with you, then this partner who's working with you will just start here at the top and flow down. Oops, change that. So the partner will flow down, will roll the magnet down or swipe the magnet down your back along this meridian from the neck to the base of the spine. If you're working on this by yourself, you can start here at the base of your nose and go over your head, or you can start here and go down to the base of your pelvis. Okay? So this is the magnet that we use, and this is a link to the website where you can buy this magnet, and I'm going to show it to you. It's actually a very large magnet that is actually used for body work. So magnetic therapies have been around for a long time. They're very healing to the body as well for other purposes, but for our purpose, we're using this magnet to help to clear and release the trapped emotions that we've identified. So what you'll do with the magnet is you'll take the magnet, like I said, and for me, I'm going to show you and demonstrate really quick. Again, I'm going to take the mic off and put it down. So hopefully you can still hear me. Oops. And so when you identify what that trapped emotion is, you're going to take the magnet and roll it down the front of your body 3 times to release. 10 times if it's a heart wall, or 10 times if it's inherited, or any other type of combination. Or you can go over your head and do it that way, 3 times or 10 times. And if you have a partner that's working with you, then they can roll the magnet down your back. Okay. And so, again, this is the chart of trapped emotions. And you're going to notice also that each one of these rows has a system of organs and glands that basically this is where these emotions can be originating, and where if you have something going on here, this can be affecting that system or organ. And so you may have, I may be noticing issues with my kidneys or bladder, which I am actually, interestingly enough. And so those are the trapped emotions that I need to clear in order to help my body to reset itself and to probably alleviate some of those kidneys and bladder issues that I'm having. Wow, I just kind of, can't make this stuff up, I'm telling you. All right, so that is just another little piece of information there. All right, so at home, what I want you to do is actually jump into learning and practicing this technique. So if you download the book, the instructions that I just went over are in the book, very well described. So you can download that PDF, you can scroll through to get to that section of the book where he talks about exactly how to do the technique. Of course, as I mentioned, using numbers instead of words can help to keep your mind out of the way and actually let your body tell you what it's ready to release. And so what I want you to do for your well work this week is to pick a time that you can devote to practicing every day and give yourself at least 30 minutes. It doesn't matter as long as it's a time and a frequency you can maintain consistently for the 7 days. However, I understand that if you can't do it daily, you can maybe do it every other day, once or twice a week. Pick whether you're going to do it in the morning or the evening, but just commit to doing it. If you say you're going to do it every other day, then commit to every other day, okay? Schedule the time on your calendar. And so you can use the written calendar, your smartphone calendar, your computer, to help you solidify your commitment subconsciously and help you stick to it. So when you start writing these things down, you say, I'm going to do it on this day. You can even set a reminder. This will really help you, to commit to doing this process. So now you're going to make a list of 5 things that you want to change or improve. And you're going to be as specific as you can. So we're going to go deeper into this in week 8. But for today, just pick 5 things that you would like to change or improve. And you may have more than 5, but we're just going to start with 5. So here are some examples. So it can be a physical symptom, a pain, a chronic or acute issue, weight loss, weight gain, a relationship issue, a work-related issue. And then you want to pick one issue you would like to address first. So your body will release whatever it feels ready for, and there's no need to force it or worry if something else comes up. So you want to identify the issue, and the reason you're doing that is so that you can keep track and notice the subtle or major shifts that are happening, because sometimes the shifts are major, sometimes they're subtle. But either way, writing it down and identifying it so that you can keep track of it is really important to the process. If you're not able to release anything for that issue, you can pick a different one, or you can just let your body do what it will. So you can ask specifically, do I have a trapped emotion about my inability to lose weight that I can release today? And you may get a no. Do I have a trapped emotion I can release today? And you may get a yes. So just play around with it and realize that your body is going to do what it needs to do. If your body consistently says no and you're not dehydrated, you're not, you're not having any of those issues mentioned before as troubleshooting things, then you can stop and rest or do something else that feels good. And then maybe come back to it. And if you are dehydrated, then stop and drink some water and try again. And you're going to want to keep a journal, okay? So I encourage everybody in the program to definitely keep a journal and write down every emotion you release. So as I'm doing my practice, what I do is I will just, once I figure out if it's A or B, I'll write down A or B, whichever one it is. Then if it's in, whichever row it's in, I'll write down the row, the number. And then I'll write down whichever emotion comes up, 1 through 5. So at the end, I just have a very simple annotation. A, 2, 3, 4, and 5, for example. Then I'll go ahead and do the process of clearing those emotions. And then after I'm completely done, I'll go back and look at what the emotions were and see what I notice. So if there's any thoughts, memories, feelings, physical sensations, or other observations that come up, I'll write those down. And then in the following days, I'll write down anything that seems significant about something that may have happened, a shift that's happened, or something that I noticed, even if I'm not sure why. But I'll write those things down because over time you may have more clarity about what that was and why it came up or why it's being cleared, or the fact that it is being cleared. At the end of the 7 days, and you can do this in the group, you can report on your results if you feel led to share. And you can share this in the 13-Week Total Wellness Facebook group or in the Energy Healing Toolkit Facebook. Either way, I would love, love, love to have you share what your experiences are with this technique. So what I want you to remember is this is a tool that you can use at any time. So if you're at work, you can just excuse yourself, go into the bathroom, grab a, any kind of magnet will work. You don't have to have the big old, Mad Boy roller magnet. Any magnet will work. And once you do that, you can, you can use that little thing that popped up, kind of got me off track. But anyway, so use any kind of magnet that you have handy, step out and just do this technique, and you will find that it gets easier and easier to clear things that are coming up for you, and noticing that it does actually really help. Okay, so that is it for today. So if you do have any questions about what we just went over, if you have any concerns about how to actually do the technique, like I said, the PDF is in your module. You can download the PDF, you can read through it, and get some guidance on exactly how to do this technique. If you have questions for me, please feel free to ask the questions. You can email me or post it in the Facebook group. And that's going to be it for today. So I'm super excited for you to learn and practice this technique, and let me know what your thoughts are about it. Okay, we'll see you next time.